Well, thanks for joining me today, Barbara and Karen. It's good to see you. And I kind of like to give our donors and supporters an opportunity to hear from the donor's mouth as to why they support us in the different manners. And today we're talking about your endowment, and just kind of wanted you guys to give a little history of your support of Pacific and how you got involved and when you started your endowed scholarship that supports the women's tennis program, and why women's tennis as well.
Well, when our mother turned 80 years old, we wanted to do something special to commemorate her birthday. And she had been an athlete in Stockton all of her life, playing 10 years of championship tennis.
And those years that Barbara was talking about her being a champion, she won 19 championships in that period of time.
Wow.
She was San Joaquin County tennis champion, and she had been inducted into the Stockton Hall of Fame.
Our biggest connection to UOP is just that we grew up in Stockton, and it was the closest university, and it was a college of Pacific at that time. And our parents were quite avid athletic supporters. They remember going to football games, and my parents always went to basketball games and volleyball games and followed the teams for a long time.
I think we were very much aware of promoting women's athletics, and Karen and I have talked about it, and we kind of in an idealistic way thought by establishing the scholarship we'd be able to help someone who wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to go to Pacific would have that possibility. And so for her birthday, coming up with a scholarship just seemed like a win-win situation for everybody, and she was thrilled to have that scholarship named after her.
So yeah, that's definitely a legacy, and obviously the endowment goes on forever. So that's great. And then talk a little bit about kind of how you've enjoyed it over the years in terms of, for people that don't understand, the scholarship is awarded to somebody every year, and what we try and do at the university is connect the donors with the athletes that receive it. Talk a little bit about kind of the interaction you've had, being able to meet those athletes, or even when they are playing around you, maybe going to see a match, and kind of the part of getting to know them a little bit too.
Well, Susan Tay stands out in my mind as one of the most outstanding athletes that we were able to get to know through the scholarship. She was a recipient for a number of years, so we got a little bit more time to get to know her. And she was always forthcoming with what it was like for her going to Pacific and what it meant to have the scholarship. And she certainly was a very successful young woman.
It's also been interesting to be able to meet all the international students that have been part of the scholarship. Rose comes to mind. She was certainly very fun to know.
There's something nice about that too, about being able to get to know somebody over several years and to watch their career. And being down here in Southern California, when the team comes to Pepperdine or to Loyola or to Northridge, we try and be there to cheer them on and to watch the play.
I think that's the best part of it. I think when giving is one thing, but when you get to talk to the athletes and see how it affects them and how appreciative they are, and that side of it's important too. And you get to see who you're supporting and the type of kids. And we're always happy to show that we think we have some great student athletes. And that kind of goes into my next part of it is we met, I think we all met about a year ago or so, when we were talking about what was going on, and you guys had expressed interest in maybe enhancing the endowment and making it a little bit more, and that would help out a little bit more. And how did that come about?
I think it was the Powell grant that we knew would do the matching funds, and we as you said, we'd been contributing and would continue to contribute, but not just to the same extent. But so it seemed like a no-brainer to go ahead and get it to the threshold to take advantage of the grant.
Because it's such a generous matching grant. And as Karen said, we were going to do it anyway eventually, and it just seemed like, why not do it sooner rather than later, since it really makes such a big difference in the amount of money that goes into the endowment.
Well, that's great. Well, we really, really appreciate the support over the years, and obviously the years to come, and look forward to, and soon we'll have your new athlete that you'll be able to meet this year that'll be receiving the endowment. But want to thank you for your support, and I'm glad that our donors and supporters were able to hear a little bit about your story and kind of why you did it, and hopefully that will incentivize some people to maybe think about doing it themselves.
Go Tigers.